Welcome to the first episode of the Two Point Turn, a weekly 15-minute podcast talking about food, entertainment, and sports.
In this episode, which is our premiere, we're going to discuss pineapple on pizza and pizza toppings in general. So, without further ado, let's get started with the great pineapple on pizza debate. Is it Does it have no place on pizza whatsoever, or is it a good pizza topping? I happen to believe it is. I think it can even be one of the best pizza toppings if you pair it with the correct toppings and you get the correct combination of toppings to complement the flavor of pineapple, which is obviously sweet, maybe like tomato or something like that. But I think you have a completely opposite viewpoint when it comes to this debate.
I I do have a completely opposite viewpoint. I think pineapples on pizza is absolutely terrible because not only is pineapple sweet, it's also citrusy, which completely turns the flavor of the pizza in the opposite direction from cheesy, savory awesomeness to weird mixture of citrusy, sweet,
No,
and
it's nowhere like it's nowhere citrus. Like if you consider citrus, you think of I guess lemon and then maybe orange are the ones that pop to mind first. But it's even if it has somewhat like a citrus taste, it's more sweet than any other citrus type taste. So I just don't get that. I feel maybe if you don't like the sweet taste, if you put it but if you put it with like jalapenos or something, you get like like a sweet and then also like a spicy thing as well. I think it's just a good combination.
no, it's really not. And you know what's the worst part? Unlike a topping like olives or mushrooms, when you take off the pineapple, the sweetness is still going to linger. You can't just remove the pineapple. You have to get a completely different pizza. And that's a really
Really?
big problem. Yes, if you remove the pineapples on a pineapple pizza, it's still gonna taste sweet, which is not what a pizza is supposed to taste like, man.
I mean, if one has to use the phrase "beauty is in the eye of the beholder" and puts it in here, I mean, I guess you can customize your pizza, whatever. I mean, one of my friends, she was telling me the other day of something called the Nutella pizza, which just sounds terrible. But I mean, if other people, I guess if other people eat it and they like it, then I don't see what's wrong with that.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
some
she said it was so good that even though I'm allergic to hazelnut, I should still go to the doctors afterwards, something like that. But it was still that good that I should eat it. Of course, this is America, and I can't afford to go to the doctor after eating it. That would be a huge financial
oh my.
investment, and I don't have that type of money on hand, so I couldn't do that. But yeah,
Okay, that's quite funny, but something like a Nutella pizza is going to be something that is treated as not normal. It's something like a joke or a dessert or something. But pineapples on pizza is being combined with ham and stuff, and it's being normalized. We can't normalize pineapples on pizza. It's not what a pizza is supposed to be. That's not what the Italians wanted. If you ask any real
but
Italian,
I mean,
they will hate
if you look
pineapples
at
on
how
pizza.
pizza has evolved, and if you look at if you do it strictly on the basis of consumption, it's an American dish. So when we say that's not what the Americans, that's not what the Italians wanted when they invented it, that's not really the same thing because God knows how long it's been since they invented it and how many alterations and different editions it's gone through. And even within the country, and even like in within even some cities there are huge variations. Like if you go to New York, there are probably like 10 different types of New York pizza in the place. So I mean a lot of things I mean I can't imagine that they were thinking all sorts of meat and things like that were gonna be in on pizza.
Yeah, but the fundamental values of pizza are still a thing. It's supposed to be a whole wheat base with some tomato sauce and cheese.
Cheese and sauce.
Yes, a savory lunch that's perfect for everyone that families can unite over. When you add pineapples, you're mixing in sweetness and just turning it in the opposite way. It's like you're driving a car, and then instead you start just driving it in reverse,
So
the
aren't
opposite way.
tomatoes a pretty big topping though? Tomatoes are a pretty popular topping on pizzas. Those are pretty sweet.
Tomatoes are not at nearly as sweet as pineapples. They're
Or
not
even
nearly
onions at sometimes. They can also be sweet. They can combine, they can also produce a sweet flavor. Admittedly, they're not. to the same extent as pineapples, but they're still sweet in their own right. I don't get why you wouldn't think those are sweet.
Okay,
And I
so
mean, for crying out loud, tomato is the sauce. Tomatoes in the sauce. It's a staple of pizza. So that
yeah,
semi-sweet taste
but
is an integral part of pizza.
the
As a matter of
tomato
fact.
and the cheese blend in well. Pineapples and tomato and cheese do not blend in well. That's the thing. So I think now would be a good time to take a look at our tier lists. So we both took all the vegetable pizza toppings. We're leaving out meat because that would be way too complicated. And we made it into A to D tier list. Ayush, would you like to go first?
Yeah. Let me just pull up my list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm sure
So,
that our tier lists are going to be very different, but go ahead.
okay. So in my A tier, I put. So I feel jalapenos deserve
Okay,
to be in
hold
the
on,
A
hold on,
tier.
hold on. I think it makes sense to go from D tier up. You know what
No,
I'm
no, no.
saying?
I think we should just. I think we should just go through each topping and say where we think it deserves to be. So,
Sure,
let's add an
sure.
S tier as well. Let's add an S tier as well, and let's just go through all the toppings individually. So pineapple. Uh, Pineapple. Where do you think it goes?
Okay, where does the S tier go?
S is the best.
S is the best. Um, okay, so pineapple for me, it's gonna go at very bottom, D tier. I mean, that's not very
D
surprising.
tier.
Yes. And
Okay,
you,
so in for pineapple for me, I'd put it in the B tier, and I think because or B tier or the A tier, B/A, because I feel it has a good taste and place on pizza, but it's not really compatible with everything else, and you sort of have to like dedicate the whole pizza to that.
okay,
Okay,
that's very
um,
logical. That's
yeah,
very
let's move
logical.
on to jalapeno, and I'd say that's an S tier topping. It fits with almost everything. I like the spicy taste it brings, but at the same time, it's not like like a hardcore chili that's like hard to eat. So I feel it's a really good play. It has a really good place on all pizzas.
Yeah, I think jalapenos are great. I would put them at S or A tier. Definitely one of the best toppings you can have. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. What's
so
next?
next is bell pepper. So bell pepper, I mean, I think it tastes fine. Uh, yeah, I'll just put it in B or C. It's just average to me.
Yeah, bell pepper is somewhat average, but nothing bad about it. So I'd put it at my B tier. B tier.
Okay, onion. I think onion is also the solid B tier. I like it. It fits almost everything, but it's not something like jalapeno that it's like a staple. You can make do without it, but I feel yeah, it's pretty good. It goes on with almost everything, and yeah, it's nice.
Well, I love onions on pizza, so I'm gonna have to put it right up there with jalapeno. I think it's you can add it and you can put some chili flakes on top. I really like onions on pizza. I'm putting it at A.
Okay, so mushroom. I hate mushrooms on pizza. I don't if unless I'm forced to eat it and it's there. I don't like it that much at all.
Yeah,
I'd put
I
it
don't
in the
like
D
mushrooms
tier.
on pizza either. Very bottom, D tier.
Okay, so the next topping you put is barbecue sauce. Now, an interesting topic for me because I don't think I've ever experienced this. I don't even really know what barbecue sauce is like other than like barbecue flavored potato chips because we're vegetarian, so we can't eat all the different types of meat in barbecues and all that. So, and I don't know. I'll put it in the D tier because I've never had it. So,
Okay, so here's the thing about barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce, it's somewhat sweet. Okay, it is somewhat sweet, but unlike pineapples, it's sweet and tangy. It works very, very well with the cheese and the tomato. It takes it a little bit different, but it still stays on the same course. I think it's a very good. I'll put it at B, B tier. Yeah.
B, okay. The next one we have is spinach. Now, spinach is one that I quite like spinach on pizza, but again, I think when we eat pizza, one of the pizzas we usually get is like a feta cheese spinach onion thing, and in that scenario, spinach is amazing. But again, if you put it with things like pineapple, for example, it might not be as good.
Yeah.
So, but since I still like it, and in that scenario, in that particular thing, if you devote the whole pizza to that style, I really do like that. So I'll put it in the A tier.
Okay, so for me, I think spinach is much better on like a calzone rather than a pizza. If you're looking for an herb on a pizza, basil would be a lot better. But margarita pizzas often have spinach, and I think margarita pizzas are pretty good. So it's a pretty solid topping. I'll put it somewhere between B and C. Now, one thing that really conflicts with me is tomato. If when you have a tomato sauce, why on earth would you put more tomatoes? That makes no sense to me. Well, what about you?
Sort of what I feel, but it's just instead you have tomato in a liquid form and then tomato in a solid form. So I feel it's good because it doesn't clash with the taste or anything. Like you said, the tomato sauce and the cheese go well together. So adding a solid tomato, which is effectively the same taste, doesn't really mess anything up. So I'd also put it in the B tier, C tier. It's somewhere there. It's pretty average. I guess
I
it's
have to
fine.
put it in C tier, but okay, okay. That's not too bad.
Okay. So we're almost
Olives.
done with
What
our
are
thing.
your,
Let's go
yeah.
with basil.
Oh,
Now,
basil. Sure.
no, let's do basil first.
Okay.
So if we start with basil, the interesting thing is I don't remember putting basils on pizza much. I don't consider it a legitimate topping. I consider it just like a flavor thing that you put, and like you put a few sprinkle a few on top or something. And I remember sometimes in margarita pizzas, there's some basil, but I a lot of the times I don't like the taste, so I'll like, just like remove it from the side or something. I don't like it much. I'd put it in the D tier, I guess.
I like basil. I do like basil a lot. I think it adds a pretty good taste to the pizza. It doesn't really conflict it. And I think basil is pretty
Maybe if it's
solid.
grinded, maybe if it's like grinded basil in like a powder form, it'll be
Okay.
bad. It'll be fine. But if you put basil leaves, I don't like those.
Okay. Okay. I think that's definitely better than spinach on a pizza, though.
I don't know about that, but okay. And last but not least, we have olives. Now, olives to me are a solid topping. They're an A slash S tier. They're not as a bona fide A. They're not a bona fide S like jalapeno, but I still think they're like a bit better than a notch above spinach. So I'll just put S slash A.
Okay. So black olives on pizza. I have different feelings about this. So I don't like it a lot because I don't like the taste of an olive on a pizza. I just don't. I like normal green olives in a bowl or something. But I don't like the taste of black olive on pizza. It's not terrible. It's not as bad as spinach to me or mushroom. So I'm gonna have to put it at the C tier. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sort of the opposite when it comes to the type. I pretty much exclusively like black olives on pizza.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time left, and just an idea I have. Why don't we customize our own pizzas? Like in a hypothetical situation, you had to order two pizzas. What are you ordering? Go. Don't think too much about it. First instincts.
Okay, so the first one I would order would be something like a feta type cheese, not the normal mozzarella. Then I would add spinach, some onions, and maybe even perhaps a few olives on that. That'd be the first one. The second one would be the normal tomato sauce. I'd put pineapple, jalapeno, and uh, I'd put pineapple and jalapeno and maybe just some tomatoes. I don't think they'd affect the taste much. What about you?
All right, all right. So, two pizzas. I would definitely have just normal sauce, normal cheese, and so for my toppings, one of them would be jalapeno and onion. The other one would be half barbecue sauce and half cheese. Although I think add mixing barbecue
What do you
sauce,
mean?
jalapeno, and onions could be a really great taste. I'm definitely gonna try that sometime. But I think cheese is always solid. I don't think I think if you ever have a cheese pizza, you don't always need to mix something. Cheese pizza is great.
I don't think we ever have cheese pizza unless like it's like
What?
at a party or something like that, and cheese
What?
pizza's only there. But like we always just have toppings.
Cheese pizza is great. But yeah, I mean, I would really be curious to see what a
It
slice
might
of
be, but it gets like bland after some time.
I guess
Like
that's true.
it's the
That's
same
true.
taste again and again. So the toppings add a lot of variety uh to that overall experience.
All right. But yeah, I will definitely one day try jalapeno, onion, and barbecue sauce. I think that would be good, or it could be terrible. I think it has potential to be really good and potential to be really terrible. All
I think
right.
the best pizza would be probably pineapple, something with
Oh,
pineapple.
yeah, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. So that is it for this episode. We hope you will tune in next week. Keep smiling.